Good morning, fellas. Start of a day. It is Monday morning, around 6:30. My little ritual is pretty much to get up before the rest of my family and enjoy some sights and sounds and smells before my day begins. Possibly passively aggressively try to drink more than my share of coffee before my wife wakes up. It's the little things in life, that give you pleasure. Finishing up my video for you this morning. Looks like it's going to be like a 3-part little lecture. Might be 4-part. I think it's going to be ABCA, where I reiterate my first lecture of the day. But I had some work done over the weekend, both by professionals that came here to do a few things for me, and by myself and the persons in my family that helped me. Sometimes it was all 3 of them at some point. My son, my daughter, and my wife all helped. And we're just going to look at the physics of some of the activities that happened right here at my house. So this is our second installment of Physics at the Farmhouse.
We're doing some physics at the farmhouse! Physics! We're doing some physics at the farmhouse! Physics! We're doing some physics! Physics at the farmhouse! We're doing some physics at the farmhouse!
All right, fellas, it is Monday morning. Let's talk about what I did over the weekend. It may seem strange as your physics teacher to want to talk about this, but this has a little bit to do with some personal finance. All right. You've all heard a penny saved is a penny earned. When I found this picture, it turns out that Ben Franklin is actually not the person that came up with that. It's much, much older than him. But there was a coin, a 1-cent piece that was made in the US in the mid 1800s, and it had Ben Franklin's face on it and this phrase on the back. And so all of a sudden he became the, creator of the phrase, but it's actually much older than him. Anyway, I'm going to pick a random number, $400. If something costs you $400 to do, you can either earn the $400 and pay someone else to do it, or you can just do it yourself and keep the money. Okay. There's value in both. It depends on what the skill is. Maybe you have no ability to do it. Especially if it's something that requires a certain amount of craftsmanship or skill, let a pro handle it. But there's plenty of things that don't fall in that. But this is a really good little phrase right here for you to remember, because in actuality, it's a lot worse than this. When you think about taxes, why won't my picture move? Oh, there it goes. Got a little bit of lag. Due to taxes, you actually have to earn a lot more than $400 to pay somebody $400. Every dollar I earn, Uncle Sam wants some of it. Some of it is taxes, some of it goes to Social Security. But at the end of the day, it's a significant chunk. So if I just use 25%, which for some of your parents is high and for some of your parents is probably low, or for you, if it was 25%, that's $533. So I have to earn $533 so that I could pay someone else $400. So understand there's a certain value in not having to pay people. Um, the idea of just keeping more of what you earn, all right, by doing it yourself. There's some pros to this. I'm going to go kind of fast through here because I got long videos later too. But you could learn a new skill. That's awesome. You can get some exercise. That's great. Saving money. I like that. You might need to buy a new tool. This is a pro for me. This is a motivator. If I don't know how to do something or if it requires a special tool, but I think I could do it if I had that tool, well, as long as I think I might use that tool again in the future, and by buying that tool, I will actually save money in the short term as well as the long term, I will buy it. Okay. And you have a sense of accomplishment because you did something. So let's talk about a few of these. The idea of exercise. Okay. Humans were not biologically designed for this life right here. A sedentary, staring at a screen, not moving. This isn't really what we were designed for, and it wears on you. Okay, versus getting some exercise. It always kills me if somebody would pay someone else to like mow their lawn or do something outdoors for them, but then they go to the gym. I'm like, but that's free. Like you don't have to pay for the gym membership. You could just do your own yard maintenance and you would get some exercise that way too. Now, I'm not talking about high end, like lifting weights and everything, trying to bulk up. You're not going to pull that off with a lawnmower. But if you are just trying to, get some cardio in and get your heart rate up and stay toned, there's plenty of things around the house you can do. Look at all these benefits of exercise on your mental health, in addition to just, not getting overweight. So all of these things have been determined to be true. There's a lot of value in just moving around. So I bought this tool for today's job, or this last weekend's job. It's a farm jack. All right. You might know it as a Jeep jack or a high lift jack. High lift is the brand name. There's plenty of other different brands as well, but it's also popular in the Jeep trade. Cons. You might look stupid if you fail. A lot of you look stupid on a regular basis. Don't let this be something that slows you down. Also, no one sits around talking about you as much as you think they do. All right. Nobody's sitting around talking about me right now. Everybody's got their own life. All right. So looking stupid momentarily is just that. It's momentary and it goes away. If you don't know how to do something, that's sometimes a good reason. Like, there's certain things that have a high skill level that you're not going to learn overnight. But there's a lot of other stuff that with a little bit of YouTube and Googling, you can learn all sorts of stuff. You don't own the right tool. That's a good reason. If it's a super expensive tool, you might want to hire this job out. But if it's a cheaper tool and by owning it, you could all of a sudden do something, or you could rent it. Home Depot rents tools. You could borrow it from a friend. All sorts of options there. Don't have time. That's possible. All right. But let's talk about that one in particular. I hear this a lot. My time's worth more than that. I'm not going to do that. I'll just hire somebody else to do that. Fine. If you make enough money or if you truly are super busy, that's a fine thing to do. But there's a lot of little tasks too that cost people a lot of money, and it drives me crazy when I see it because I don't think they're doing the math. So you've got a great education. Take out your little phone, put it on the calculator, and do the math once in a while, and you might be shocked by what you find. So let's look at one of the convenience items that's popular today, and let's just see what your time is really worth and what the convenience is. It's really probably you just don't want to make the extra effort. Let's look at oh wait, I forgot about this slide. So the idea of saying my time is worth more than that, well, your time off, you don't make the same as your time at work. So keep that in mind. If you have enough leisure time, if you have enough time off, you can't somehow claim that it's worth just as much as what the office pays you. Like for me, for instance, again, this random number, $400. Where's this coming from? I can make $50 an hour tutoring physics if I wanted to, but I would absolutely hate it because again, it's like office work. You're sitting, you're having to, just be still, and I don't want more than that. But it would take me 8 hours to earn the $400. Okay, and that doesn't even include the commute time if I have to drive to meet the kids somewhere, or the taxes I would have to pay on the money. So really, it'd probably be more like 11 or 12 hours that I would actually have to earn to be able to pay someone this fictitious $400. All right, so this is what I was about to say earlier. This idea of extra effort. Here's 2 coffees. Here's your pods, your K cups. All right, they're 70 cents per cup. I drink 3 cups a day. I think I'm pretty standard in that. Maybe 2 cups, maybe 1 cup for some people. I don't know. I'm 3. Or you could buy the beans and get a drip coffee maker and do it that way as well. It's kind of cool that both of these are worth more or less within $1.50 of each other. This one's 70 cents per cup. This one's 91 cents per ounce. Well, what does that look like for a month? Well, for me, 3 cups a day times 30 days at 70 cents a cup means I'm spending $63 on coffee, which seems a little excessive. Add to that the fact that I'm married and my wife drinks just as much coffee as I do, or she tries to, if I don't drink it all before she wakes up. That's $126 a month. That's not in our budget. Make your own coffee. All right. I took the mass this morning. It's 1.3 ounces. That's how many coffee grounds we use every morning. And so 91 cents per ounce times 1.3 ounces. That means for the entire carafe that is enough for both of us, it costs $1.18. $1.18 times 30, that's $35. Now, in my opinion, this is still way too much because I don't buy this coffee off of Amazon. We found a really good coffee at Costco, and it's like a 5-pound bag for like $12. And so ours is a small fraction of this $35 number. All right. That's a little bit about just effort and being willing to put in a little bit of elbow grease. You're about to see me put in some elbow grease and pant a lot. But let's look at some physics too. All these fun things are coming up. Oh, look, 400 was not a random number. I know y'all are shocked. It's actually, related to what's going on. So the farm jack, I'm going to use it some. It's normal jack, but there's a couple of things that make it cooler than most. One is how ridiculously tall it is. You're not just going to lift something a few inches to get a tire up off the ground. You could literally, lift something a few feet. Perhaps you tipped over your Jeep and you need to ride it again. This is something that could do that. Or perhaps you got your Jeep all the way stuck down to the axles in the mud, and you can't get a normal jack underneath it. This guy starts so low. That's also an incredible value that this thing has. But it can also winch, and this is why Jeeps like it so much. And they like to just mount it somewhere on the exterior so they look cool, whatever. But look, you can winch with it, and it'll take you a while, and it'll be hard work. And you'll only move things about 3.5 feet at a time before you have to rechain it and do it again and again. Or you can push up and you can lift things up. So it can do both. So it's a very versatile little thing. How's it work? Well, it's just a lever. Okay. You have a long input lever here that you're going to push on. And then you have a small lever right here, which is going to lift up. So I've got to throw this thing all the way down so that, can y'all see my cursor? I hope so. The red stick, you got to tilt the red stick all the way down so that there's a little bit of change at the very bottom. That's called your mechanical advantage, the number of times the machine multiplies your force. All right. It's just output force divided by input force. But for levers, it's also the length of your input lever divided by the length of your output lever. Somebody else has already done this for us, and it comes out to about 9-1. All right. So if I want to apply 900 pounds of force, I need to apply 100 pounds to the lever. Now remember, you don't get something for nothing. You don't get free work. So if I only have to push with 1/9 the force, I have to move it 9 times as far. But it's a fair trade. Okay. All right. So you're about to see me use a farm jack to pull some stumps. A very laborious activity. But I was quoted $400 to remove them. And I decided that my time was not worth $400. My time, I have the time and I have the willingness to try hard. Okay. And so for that reason, I was willing to take this upon myself. So let's watch me burn a few calories.
Let's talk about manual labor. I just paid a significant sum of money yesterday to have somebody else come out and reseal my asphalt driveway. And you know, he came around and he put some sort of patch in the cracks, and I don't know what all he used, some sort of tar. You can buy this tar at Home Depot and do it yourself. But it's a job that only needs to be done every few years, and I just said no way. It's too messy, I don't do it often enough, and I would do a terrible job of it, and it would take a long time, and so I said no, and I was willing to pay the money. But at the same time, I also need some tree work done, and I've got some dangerous limbs that are up over my house right here, and I've got a chainsaw and I've got a ladder, but the idea of somehow being able to cut it without it slamming into my house is another story. And so I'm going to pay out this job too, and I'm going to pay somebody to do it. It requires special, equipment to get up that high. There's a significant safety issue. The driveway, I could just botch it, ruin a bunch of clothes. Maybe I would save some money, but it would take me much longer than it took the pro to do it, and he did a better job. So I'm willing to pay for those two jobs. But that same tree guy was going to charge me $400 to remove 12 stumps. All right. I've already played with this one yesterday to see if my idea would work, or what I found on YouTube would work, and it did, although it was back-breaking work and it took a while. And his $400, he would get it all done in an afternoon and it would be over. But $400 is $400. And so I can't really do it wrong. It just might take me longer. But I'm going to see if I can't save some money and do this one myself. And maybe it takes me all day. Maybe it takes me 2 Saturdays or 3 Saturdays. I don't know. But we're going to see. I've searched YouTube and I've got a few ideas. The method that worked on the one that I pulled won't necessarily work on this one. So anyway, you're going to see a couple of different methods here as I try to save a little money and do for free what somebody else was going to cost $400. That's another one. The driveway I can't do for free. The driveway I would have to go buy special equipment to do. But those guys I can do for free. I can do with things I already own. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, this is the stump I've chosen for the first one. I'm probably going to choose a few different methods. If you're thinking just tie it to the bumper of your truck, you don't always have that option. I got my mailbox there. I got that AT&T thing there, which is kind of scary to do anything near. no telling how much they'd sue me for. And then that's actually where my well is right there, so I can't really drive over this spot. So the idea here, based on what I've learned from that one over there, is the first one we used a farm jack and we jacked it up only to actually break a connector to the chain because it was pulling so hard. So then we had to cut some roots. So this time I'm going to work in reverse, and I'm going to use a pickaxe and my sawzall, and I'm going to cut any exposed roots I can find within the first couple inches of the dirt right off the bat. Then I'm going to throw the chain around it and try to lift up with my farm jack. All right, I've made a tripod out of the farm jack. Farm jack's rated at 7,000 pounds, and that ought to hopefully do the trick. Things that I'm using at my disposal: a normal shovel, a pickaxe, maybe an axe, a bunch of chain, and there's my sawzall, maybe a couple of hammers. I don't have any idea. I might need to run a nice bolt through so that my chain won't slip, and so I also have something to drill a hole in case I need to run the bolt. But we'll see what happens here. I want to take note of the time. It is 10:43. I probably won't actually start swinging for another 5 minutes, so we're going to call it, give me the benefit of the doubt, we'll call it 10:50. We'll see how long it takes for me to get this thing out of the ground. Well, I thought I was going to get it in one thing, that's why I videoed it, but now it's slipping off and we're going to have to retighten. Maybe not. It's cool when you see it breaking on the lines that we...
Wonder if I didn't. I think it's gonna hold.
Pretty well done.
Woo! Want me to do it? Or you
No,
get?
it's done. Alright, turn this off. Alright, so you missed the excitement on the second one, or I tried to show you, but my my C-clamp ring that holds the chain to the jack broke. It's actually good to have things like this because this makes a fail-safe. You miss the excitement on this one, we couldn't make the chain stay, so I got the truck and I had to run at it with the truck and it popped it out. But it jarred the truck pretty good, and that's dangerous. So I'm gonna add a tow strap. It's actually good to have a weakest link. When you have a weakest link, you know it's gonna fail. And this is gonna rip apart way before it hurts my truck. So you put a little tow strap in between, and then you can feel pretty good about pulling hard and not damaging anything except something that's expendable. So we're about to do the next one with a tow strap. All right, let's see what $400 looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That should have been 13. I missed one somewhere back there. Oh, one of them was so close to the ground I didn't do anything with it. So I was $400 to cut 12 stumps. I did 11 of them, decided one of them wasn't worth it. And then it still took us less than 2 hours, so we decided to cut down a crepe myrtle that was right here, a big old tree. I may refer back to it in a previous video. So anyway,
I was a little sore the next day, but I certainly had a sense of accomplishment, and I felt pretty good about it. Let's see what it looked like. So there's my before. All right, you can see this nice row that somebody had planted way back when. Right when we moved in, we chopped them all off, and we figured we'd take care of the stumps later, and later finally came. You couldn't even see the house when we moved in. These were obscuring pretty much the entire view of the house. There were 12 total, and then this guy right here is the tree I mentioned, this crepe myrtle right here. We also chopped it down, so 13 total. The one that didn't get chopped down was this little guy right there, who's a little small. But here's what it looks like after the fact. So got rid of the crepe myrtle and got rid of all those stumps, and we got a few depressions. We're gonna have to fill them in a little bit, move the dirt around, but pretty good. So my yard looks nicer. I got some nice exercise out of it. And there was also the benefit of this is what I looked like before, and this is what I look like after. All right, so I got to keep my money. So $400 saved, which before taxes is more like $533. So that's always a great feeling. Now, I didn't do all the labor that happened around my house this weekend because I also needed a bunch of limbs cut down that I deemed too dangerous and requiring too much special skill for me to even think about attempting. In fact, as I watched him work, I knew I would be exhausted before I could even start just climbing the tree. I don't have a lot here in terms of physics. It's all review from October and November, but I want to remind you what you've learned about sum of forces, resultants, and equilibrants. These guys used all that information so well. I'm not saying they're physics scholars. I'm saying that they understand how tension and ropes work, and they've learned the relative masses of different branches, so they know where to tie off the rope so that it dangles correctly. It's all pretty cool to watch. So essentially they have one rope that's high up in the tree that they throw up there to hold the man up in case he falls off the limb he's on, so that he's safe. And then they have another rope that they tie up there, a much thicker rope that holds the limb that he's about to cut off so that it doesn't fall to the ground directly, because every single one of these limbs was either over my house or over my garage that needed to come down safely before a storm brought them down on top of my house. So here's the first one they did. This is my garage over here, and you can see him way up there. I'm going to point out, let me move this guy out of the way so I can hit you. We'll go with red. Here's the rope that essentially is keeping him safe if he falls out of the tree. All right. But he would still have to balance on the limb himself, really. And he's way out there. All right. There's not a lot up here you're going to find to be able to help him out. He would have to constantly move his support rope all the time, every time he moved, if he was only relying on a support rope. So check this out. He's got this other little rope, and he throws it under the branch and then puts it back on himself. And then he flexes with his legs and pushes up, and it creates tension in the rope. So essentially he's got tension going this way and this way and this way and this way. All right. And he's made himself stable. All right. And it was crazy to see just how comfortable he was up there. Obviously balance has a lot to do with it. But he also had a great use of ropes where he was able to essentially lock himself in place with this tiny little rope that he would just put underneath the branch that he was on, and it was really neat to see. Okay. All right, so let's watch them do their job, and I don't really have anything after that. I just want, it's always impressive to see someone who's good at their craft. So they repeatedly cut down a limb so that it perfectly missed my property, my house or my garage, and then safely was dropped to the ground. And it was so neat to watch how well they could get it done. All right, guys, here we go.
So impressive. Well done. Well done.
All right, that was my weekend. I got a little exercise, a lot more exercise than I'm used to, and that was good for me, and it felt good. All right, something about exercise always makes you feel better at the end of the day, so that felt good. I want to have a moment to just remember those that we lost in service to the job well done. Uh, the strength of the first couple of stumps was so strong until we had figured out how to really cut the roots more effectively. So it's just crazy the amount of strength it takes to straighten out these connectors. All right, so both of these broke. Two blades for my Sawzall got tore up. And then this guy I had put in a few of the stumps just to hold the chain in place as we got ready to pull with the truck. So I got a lot of exercise. I saved my family a good bit of money. I have a certain feeling of accomplishment. I feel pretty good about my weekend. Next time you have a job in front of you, ask yourself if you could do it yourself. Ask yourself if it really requires that much skill or if it just requires you to put in a little bit of effort. All right. You can end up saving a whole lot of money and getting some exercise and feeling better about it as a result. All right, that's it.